We're here to meet Leo Skorski, a man who has devoted his life to serve and work with others. He is a man behind the construction and the existence of the Paderewski Society Home for seniors. He is an individual who has received the Mayor's Award of Merit, the Golden Jubilee Medal, Diamond Jubilee Medal. He has received the Volunteer Service Award from Premier McGuinty and Ontario's Volunteer Service Award from MPP Jim Bradley. Leo has an affinity, a connection with the people that he lives with in this Senior Citizen Centre. And he is a man who cannot ignore the plea for assistance. Leo has pleaded for help. He's fought for help. He's received none. It appears that Leo has only one alternative. He needs public attention. Leo, your involvement with the Paderewski Senior Citizen Centre has been from its early beginnings. What can you explain there?
Well, first, when 87, I had the idea to build senior citizen home. I went to share my idea with Mayor McCaffrey. And from that time, I know without Mayor McCaffrey, we wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. He helped me tremendously, and he arranged meetings with the Minister of Housing, Mrs. Hosak, in Toronto. At that time, he went, Mayor McCaffrey, Alderman John Mashuta, Lapland, and City Solicitor Mrs. Lemon, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, take me practically over 2 years until we get approval from Ministry of Housing, and they're going to finance the
and this
project.
This center opened in 1991, correct?
Yes.
And have you been a resident here from its beginning?
No, I was resident when my wife got sick, and I moved here to Paderewski 2005.
So since 2005?
Yeah. So I moved in, of course.
But you were associated with the complex from its beginning, though?
Yeah, from beginning. Mm-hmm. Yes, I was president. Mm-hmm.
And you have a connection with all the residents.
Yes, they know. They know me, and they trust me. Whatever they see something's not the way they like it, they always contact me first. Mm-hmm. But I am the person, they know I don't ignore anybody, I don't cheat, I don't lie. I try to create the best atmosphere for the people.
And what has happened that has brought you to this stage to seek public attention?
Well, since I was no longer president, that things start to get sour. Mm-hmm. And,
in what way?
Which people don't like and I don't like, and I try to raise my concern, my voice, but unfortunately nothing's happened up to these days.
When you say things have gone sour, in what way? From what we've heard, there has been abuse.
There was definitely abuse. For example, vice president was called to apartment Mr. Zilichowski lives, and things happens. They exchange words, and he called him very
Bad
brutally
language.
bad language.
Yes.
So, and then, of course, at that time, Mr. Zilichowski called me and specifically says, Leo, I went through Siberia to Middle East. In fact, at the Monte Casino, nobody called me that kind of a name. I cannot live with myself. I am 95 years old.
What did you try and do in regards to that situation?
Well, then I even told him to write a letter to board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
So he did that. And I have a written copy and witnesses, but by another person.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's happened, just few fancy answer which doesn't mean anything. And poor guy, about weekend later, landed in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to see him. That's his words. Leo, I won't come back. I lost my heart. I lost my feeling.
And this gentleman has lived in this complex for
He was lived for a long time.
Yes. What did you do when the situation around the abuse of the gentleman that had happened here, from what I understand, you had taken letters or documents to Mayor Brian McMullen, is that true?
Yes, I took that written complaints to Mayor McMullen, and he looked at it. I left the letter, and that complaints from Mr. Zilichowski. That's his words. We cannot allow that to happen.
And you gave it to him personally. So this was a meeting that you had
Yes.
with Mayor McMullen face to face.
Yes, I gave him person.
Anything happened after that meeting?
Nothing's happened, and I did ask if he even contact chairman of the region, Mr.
Burroughs.
Burroughs, and somehow things fade away and no answer.
Did you go back to Mayor
I
McMullen?
went back and asked him
Mm-hmm.
what he done, and basically he says, well, probably I'm gonna drop these things and give me, well, practically no answer.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Was there anybody else present at the time?
only not that. That was the third time, but the second time it was Mayor and Greg Washuta.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually I raised this practically same question,
Mm-hmm.
but third time I went by myself
Mm-hmm.
and asked specifically what happened, what did you do?
So you've made 3 separate attempts
Yeah,
to get action regarding the abuse of a resident here,
Yes.
a senior,
yeah,
and there's been apparently no great interest shown by the city or the mayor's office.
yeah. Also, I one time practically the same complaint. I went to the Jim Bradley office
Mm-hmm.
with my friend. He lives first floor, Mr. Kalinowski. We left those documents
Mm-hmm.
in Mr. Bradley office.
Have you had any response?
And he, the secretary says, well, I'm gonna give it to Mr. Bradley, let him look at it, and I call you back. So I wait about 5 weeks, no call back. Then I call again, apparently I find out during the, she, I guess, sent everything to the region, the regional housing in the south.
And that's...
But basically, regardless what I did, what kind of a complaints about those abuse and neglect, 5 of us went to Mrs. Small office, and another lady was, I forgot her name, was present, and every 5 of us expressed their opinion, but nothing's happened.
Nothing at all.
Up to these days.
And as a past president of the Paderewski Society, you still have the minutes of the meetings, you still have documentation which is made available to you.
Yeah, some, yes.
Some of it.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you found a rather dramatic question regarding a large sum of money.
Yes.
Can you explain a little as to what this was at the beginning? What did you find that was irregular in those minutes?
When I find out that $20,000 was paid to fencing company, and then about total was around $33,000 or more, and then also was paid almost $16,000 for a privacy screen on a balcony.
So we're close to 50,000.
We're talking about $50,000.
Did you try in any other way to get information, for instance, from the board of directors here at the Paderewski Society Home?
You can get any information from the board, but I have a written letter from caretaker who used to work here, who used to install 29 of those screens on a balcony, and the rest of them install her son.
And when you say her son, is that
manager's son?
Since you became aware of such a large sum of money that appears now, at this stage, to have no real answer as to where it's gone, and apparently the police have not seen reason to have an investigation here, is there any way that you believe you could get or find answers to this?
That part I don't know where to turn. I only know, like Mr. Manarmo told me, when the police told him that complaints has to come from the board of directors or from the region. So I felt how they possibly can call the police on themselves.
Well,
And
the board, yes.
Yeah, even the Mr. Andrzej Kirch, he was board of directors that time when all those things happened. He wrote the letter to police. Still nothing's.
How long ago, approximately, did these checks, were these checks written? Was it this year or was it a few years back? Or?
I guess last year.
Last year, so it's only very recent.
Yeah.
Yes. And now it appears that the region, who has not really shown a great deal of care about the abuse at this center, nor have they apparently shown interest in close to $50,000 going somewhere which has not been explained, and a board of directors that basically voted themselves in are asked to file a complaint against themselves.
Yes.
You as a resident and an individual involved from its very inception of this complex, you're seeking to find at least public attention to possibly get an investigation going. Is that what you're hoping to do?
I hope so. I hope we're talking about 2 incidents, 50,000. But the question is how many more of those kind of things could possibly happen previously. And but somehow it was impossible to
You're not getting anybody to listen to you.
break the ice. Impossible.
And even though you've tried with a solicitor, with a lawyer,
Oh yeah.
have you considered going to the media? Have you considered going to the local newspaper with any of this?
I hope I go anywhere to Supreme Court of Canada if I have to.
So you're willing to fight?
I'm willing to know the truth. How that possible happened in this beautiful country, this kind of a situation.